Hey everyone, welcome to the weekly review. So let's get right to it. What I have here is the long-term channel of the bear market, let's call it, and a couple of big levels here. And we have 390 as the bull bear pivot. We have 410-ish as part of the $20 ranges. I'll put up the big zones as well. So we have the 393 400 buffer, which is the middle zone where we're going north basically. We have the lower zone 360 to 390 and the upper zone 400 to 430. And this week we just hit the midpoint. The high this week was 415.09 yesterday and got a bit of a rejection there, but nothing really serious. So I'll say next week we are on a path to hit 420 on 420. So next week is April 20th, so 420 on 420, and we'll see if we get it. But it's looking pretty decently. Uh, the market is we're very close to turning back down, but I really hope we get a push above 420 to make a very juicy short. And let's go into details about why. So I'll get back to explaining SPY, but first let's look at the other stuff. So yields after going down quite a bit the last couple of days. I think the lows. Let's see if I can remember what was the low this week. In- Yeah, this is what I meant. Like it was quite a bit under the March FOMC uh, level, and to yesterday we're almost back at the same level, and most likely it's going to continue to go up, and that will continue to put pressure on equities. So you can see here we overshot a bit, and now we're back in the range, and most likely we're going to go up for at least to 367-ish, which is around the midpoint. And at the same time, DXY is doing something similar. So the dollar is the actual super relevant thing because dollar going down allows everything to go up, like oil can go up, crypto can go up, equities can go up, and so on. And what we're seeing here is I had this level drawn up as the major support. What happened previously when we got to this level, we overshot a bit, and the best reversals are from failed breakouts or breakdowns. So we had a failed breakdown, we got back in the channel, and that led to a rally to up to this point here at 105. Then we overshot a bit. We had another fake breakout to the upside, and what did we get after that? We had a collapse again. And now it's looking a lot like we're having another failed breakdown. And on the daily, it was looking good for a breakdown, but on the weekly, we can see that it was saved. So we closed right at the trend line, at the horizontal support, and we have a bit of a bullish divergence going on here, and it's looking pretty good for the dollar to continue up. It might consolidate for a couple of more days around here, maybe below, maybe above, doesn't really matter, to allow equities to have their push up to 420. But I think the dollar is very close to turning, and at least in sync with the OPEX effect, where the market will start to go in the other direction, in our case down. We will get a bit of a dollar rally, and target is still 105, the 105 area, but it could be lower. Don't know. We'll see how it goes. So yields starting to go back up, and dollar attempting to go back up. Uh, Combine this with the OPEC cycle. Combine this with short positions on dollar, which is, you can think of commodities and gold and crypto as the counter, the opposite of the dollar. So they're all super extended. Let's look at commodities. So oil, an extended move here. We have gold, an extended move here, and showing like, look at this on gold. This is not bullish. This is a topping pattern that will soon take us down. And we can actually draw it as well. Let's say something like this and something like this. We have to get a pullback, and at least to 1950, but most likely more than that. I would say this 1863 supply zone that is not tested is going to be where it bounces. Yeah, that's kind of gold. And then we look at crypto. Just care about Bitcoin and ETH, both doing crazy stuff. No, not that one, this one. Both super overextended, and what allowed them to go this high was dollar going down. And now with the potential rally back in DXY, the chances are they will start to go down. Okay, so back to SPY, the long-term channel. This is the way I have it drawn now. I consider this to be a fake breakout. This is also a minor fake breakout. It was a resistance here, and now we went up a bit. And this line here is actually the potential channel top. I drew it like this because this had no counterpart. And we have multiple contact points on the low, so I'm pretty confident in the low. But the high could have been a lot of things. Like initially, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. But until now, there was no confirmation of this line here. So most likely, this has the potential to become our new top. Like I said, maybe it goes a bit higher, and I'll adjust it based on that. Maybe it becomes, let's say we go to 420 to close that gap, it would become something like this. And then this also makes sense. We can say this, and this are overshoots, and they caused large counter rallies as well. So this could also be a possible scenario. The lineup on the midpoint is very good. Like we have this point, we have this point, we have this top here, we have this top here. So this is the potential long-term channel true form. For now, I want to change it. We'll wait for next week to see how it plays out, but it wouldn't surprise me if we get exactly that. Then the largest, the most likely point of rejection is this gap here. So if we get to this gap and we fill it, I'm going short big and just hoping for the best, but I have no doubts that will pay off. So this is what I'm looking to see next week. Hope we get it so we can short big. If we get a bit of an overshoot, then we have 45. This is the weekly supply zone. This here is both daily and weekly. Uh, Also great short. Mm, don't assume we will go higher than this without a substantial pullback. And substantial pullback means at least 20 MA, and 20 MA is at 403. Let's assume it goes a bit higher next week. How many points? Let's compare to the previous week. So the previous week with the SPY going up, it was 398, so it went up $5. Let's assume $5 as well, so 408. So let's say 420, 20 to 25 to 408, so that's like 15 to 17 points drop. That's still a substantial drop, but we could see even more than that. That's the bare minimum we'll see post OPEX. Okay, so do we have confirmation of this from other sources? Well, kind of, or the short answer is yes. First, we look at VIX. So VIX is looking like a breakdown, but we have a major support point here. This trend line here which was respected multiple times, and right now it's coming up to it again. It's 16.5-ish, let's say, and I really think we will get a bounce here. Plus the horizontal support here, horizontal support here. It's a really strong level even for VIX. VIX dropped 4.15% on Friday, but VIX of VIX did not. It was only down 1%. When we get this kind of differentiation between them, with usually VIX of VIX being stronger, it's also a reversal signal. It doesn't mean it will happen instantly, like we could have a couple more days of small drops, but most likely it will reverse soon. Like VIX of VIX stops dropping first, then VIX stops dropping, and then VIX of VIX starts to go up, and VIX follows as well. And then what we have other things that we want to look at for next week. So first off, it's AVWAPs, and we have the AVWAP from the all-time high. And it was a interesting level to look at for the past 1.5 years almost. And you can see that we had overshoots above it, but it was the de facto resistance that we got into. And right now it's a very similar situation in which we went above it, but we're still in the window of reversal. Like we can still get a reversal down. And if even if we continue to go up, let's say we go to 430, which is unreasonable, but let's say we do it, there will still be a point where this one has to become support, and it will go up, then we will go down and turn it into support, and then the market goes up. So I'm very confident about a reversal down and at least a retest of this level um, after next week. And what I was talking earlier, the 20 MA, where is it going to be? Around 408. Well, look where the all-time high AVR will be 407.38, and probably go a bit higher, not a lot higher, but a bit higher. Then we have the yearly. So we can see the AVR from the start of the year. This is the one deviation and two deviations, and the one deviation level was acting as resistance. What do we see here? We're very close to the one deviation level. It might push it up a bit, but unlikely that it will go a lot higher than that. We can also see that the one deviation level was a support on the move down. Then the March low, so the most recent lows. Now the two deviation level was the resistance. Uh, the further we go from it, it's less likely that if we will do a two standard deviation move relative to it. So one standard deviation relative to it is enough. And we're kind of hugging this level. We're probably going to push it up a bit more and then go down. The October low again, one standard deviation level was resistance, and we are very close to it as well. If we get something similar to this, uh, meaning a small overshoot above it, what level would that be? 421 for the exact gap fill. That would be perfect to see. And then the February high level as well. So we first look at the recent low, not the all-time low, and this was the March low. Sorry, let's move it here. So the most recent high and the most recent low. And the most recent high, we saw this act as support, and now we're getting to the to one standard deviation level again as most likely resistance. So again, we can have a small overshoot like we did here, and go to 420-ish, and then drop. Okay, then for last week, this is last week's range, and that's the previous week's range. What happened on Friday is we so last week we were stuck in this range for most of the week. The previous week's levels were support. The low was support, midpoint was the midpoint resistance. Then we went above it and got rejected. We went down again, and then on Thursday and Friday we went up a bit more. And with this new weekly range that we made last week, is it became support. So what happened on Friday is we made a new weekly high, which we marked, and then when we went down, the mid became support. This is bullish and speaks of potential continuation. It doesn't mean instant continuation. Like I kind of assume we'll get another retest to the midpoint, and then we start to go up, and it does its bullish move to try to get to 420. And I keep mentioning 420, but it's not a guarantee that we will see it. Like when we get to 418 to above 415, the higher we get above 415, the better the short. It doesn't mean you have to wait for the exact top to go in. You can start scaling in immediately after 415, because just like we had in February, we had a very similar setup and we didn't get that high. We only got as high as 418. So this could happen again without any issues, or we could stop right below 420, because SPY is a bit below SPX. And when we look at SPX, so SPY is 412.46 and SPX was for 4137. So SPX is a full dollar above SPY. So the thing here is XPX is more important, and XPX can get to 422.24, 22.4, and actually a bit lower. Let's see. This is the gap fill. So 4218.7. So this could get reached without SPY getting above 420. I don't know exactly how close the big or smaller gap is, and it could oscillate. But if you're looking at SPY, keep in mind that we might not hit 420, and the thing to look out for is actually SPX. If the gap on SPX is filled, that's enough. We don't care about anything else. Okay, so what else is there? Yeah, I was looking at the EU indexes, and UK 100 has some of the most awesome drops and reversals that you will see anywhere, and it has this pattern of curling at the top, like it's visible with the naked eye, but I'll draw it as well. Like it does these patterns. Make it yellow, it's more visible. You see it, you see them here, like this, like this, like this, and the drops are very sudden, and then we get reversals up. And the pattern I am looking here to be very similar is this. We had it once, it went back up to the highs, and it was divergent, which we will be as well. And very similar here as well. We dropped, then it went up, it was divergent, and we went back down again. And it's shaping up to be very similar to this here. Or at the very least, we will get something equivalent to this. This is the minimum we can get. And it was only 2%? No, 3% drop. It was a 3% drop. This is the minimum we can get, and I think we will get more on the turn. DAX doing kind of the same thing. It's breaking out, but not quite. We can, not this one, this one. Still a rising wedge. AEX, same pattern as UK 100. If I switch to longer time frame, the divergence becomes a lot more visible. Like on the daily, you can barely see it, but on higher time frame, look at how large it is, and this microphone. So clear bearish divergence and a pretty large one at that. So we're gonna get a drop soon. The amplitude of it will depend on how high yields and dollar rally. Okay, so let's look at the mega caps now. Tesla's looking decent here for last run up before it drops. So we have this consolidation. Sorry, this. We have this pennant here. This could go either way. So don't think it's gonna become bullish. If I draw it like this, it's also a possibility that it's like this. I think it more the other way. I'll consider that to be a fake breakout. This. So it's very close to choosing a direction. And when it chooses a direction, just go with it. If it goes up, it should reach the highs here, so 215, and then it has the big drop. And if it goes below, it's more complicated if it goes below. I would say at least to 166, and then it starts to be able to bounce. It could do something like this, then break out and go higher. But this will mean Tesla stop is in, and we will get the major market pullback, and then it will turn back bullish again. Well, Apple stop is probably in. Channel top. This is the supply zone. It could potentially go to 171 and fill this small gap here, but it's a lot. Look at the delta profile. I don't remember what it looked like. Yeah, it can go to 170. It has enough puts here. It has quite a bit of OI above. So it's just above 166, 65, sorry. And yeah, it can do this, but that should be the top. So if Apple fills that gap, this is the short level. 171.52, 50, yeah. Okay, Nvidia. Nvidia almost broke down, but not quite. I think we can draw it like this. So a very, 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 very steep rising wedge. A bounce here, and if the market goes up next week, could see it go to 290. So the demand, the supply zone is this. This is where the breakdown started. So it lost it, back tested, and then flushed. So it starts at 273, but can go as high as 290, 289.46. And look at it, it would be the top of the trend line again. So I guess it's doable. Let's look at Nvidia as well. This seems less plausible. So it doesn't have a lot of OI, especially for next week. So the blue is next week. So next week's OI basically ends at 280. There's a bit of 285 in blue here, but very little. So 280 should be the top for Nvidia. What is 280? Yeah, so a retest of the high. Google. Google also has a gap here. I think it fills it, and it still has a bit of room to go even higher. Uh, this is the demand zone here, the supply zone, sorry. Keep saying the other thing. So 113 and 119. There's one here because we had a breakdown here. So first one is it made a small top and then broke down. We had a 2% day, we had a backtest of this level, and then another flush down, and it then kept going down. So this is the bigger one, I would say. This is the smaller one. Microsoft. I mentioned Microsoft as well last week, and I thought we would get. I wanted to see it fill this gap. So first one, we had a supply zone here, which we hit and got a small rejection. But given that we didn't reverse down a lot, I still think we go for this gap fill. And there's still a bit of room. This seems too much to go up without before the April OPEX effect is like another 27%. I guess it's doable. I don't know. It would need to get something really bullish. But for Microsoft, this is the level where it broke down. So we have a trap supply here. When we hit 310, it's probably going to get a stronger reversal down. But we also have a breakaway gap here. Same kind of situation. We have a previous stop. So there is some supply as well, trap supply around this level. So 300 first, then 310. So I would guess 300 is the short. Amazon not looking that bullish. It's in this not supply zone is higher, but in this horizontal level here, which it gapped up above on earnings, but then lost it quickly. And now it's kind of struggling with it. I think it has enough to retest 106, but not higher than that. That is interesting. It's close to topping as well. It's the gap here. So 231. And Netflix looks like it peaked already. Hmm. 362 maybe. So drop, backtest, then go down. Backtest this again, and then go down again. So let's talk about the what's gonna happen after that. I am really liking IWM, but what I would like to see is a spring. So this is kind of a week off pattern. Went down, back up, down, up, down, up, down. And now we should do an exhaustion and spring. So what that means, we make a new low. People think it's breaking down and we're going for, it's going to crater. And then it just bounces and goes rocket up. looking to see something like this. So if we compare this with insert image, I don't remember. It works. So we came from here, then we bounced. Let's see if make it smaller so that it fits. So let's say this is the SC. We went down, no, this one was the SC. We went up, we made a new low, we went up again above this point, then we made a new low or an equal low, then we're going back up again, then we're going down again, and I would really like to see this spring here, like we're around this level, and I would like to see a spring, like go to fill this gap, 155-ish, and that would be a great buy for IWM because this is what comes next. Okay, so let's draw what happens on SPY. We have to go on lower time frame. We have this weekly range, which is what we will follow probably most likely. And then we have a target, which is 420 on 420. Need to turn back on a couple of things. 25. Yeah, that's it. So this is our target. So Monday most likely down. I don't know if you guys noticed, but every Friday we get a VIX crash, almost on the dot, and every Monday we get a VIX spike. And we get a VIX spike, so that means market will open down. And it's interesting to see if midpoint will hold. Let's assume it doesn't hold. Where do we go? No, let's assume it holds actually. There's no reason to say that it doesn't hold, but it should overshoot a bit. We go up again, we go down again. Maybe this time we go down more to get more energy, and then we start going up. And we get to 420. And here we just crater. Oops, hit right click by mistake. Let's draw it again. So we go to the midpoint, maybe we go around here a bit, then we go up, maybe we go down, bounce up, and then just go up, and then we go down. What the fuck am I doing? This will actually be like this, like when we top out, the rejection will be instant or close to instant, and it will be big. yeah, I guess this is it. So still bullish for another week, and then some hell breaking loose. And remember, there is no guarantee that we will hit this. Start scaling into shorts slowly, or not necessarily slowly, as soon as we are above 415. Good luck and have a good day. Bye bye.